Strength grows in the moments when you think you can't go on but keep going anyway. Perseverance is the heartbeat of your strength. Let's meet the visionaries of this project.
My name is Dr. Joan T Randall, and the vision for the second wind came about at one point in my life when I recognized that I was in my late 50s and I'd lost everything. Everything that I'd worked for, all of my life was gone just like that. I felt like the lever had been pulled away and I was just disintegrating. My marriage was over. My forever home I had to sell because of financial troubles. And I was experiencing physical ailment. I had high blood pressure. I had a tumor in my left thigh that I ended up having to do surgery on. And I just felt as if my world had crumbled. It was a bad place to be in my 50s. Have you ever been in that situation where you feel as if everything that you had worked for just disappeared, is gone, and you feel like you have to start back at square one? Well, that was where I was. But what I recognize is that I was mourning the loss of stuff. I was mourning the loss of things. I was mourning the loss of the marriage, of the home, of the material stuff, of the bank account, of the savings. What I didn't realize until the moment when I was at my lowest was that I still had me. I had the power in me. I had the gifts in me. I had the learned experiences in me. I had the lived experiences. I had every gift, skill, talent, treasures, ability that God had given me in me. So why was I mourning stuff when I still had the power of Joan? And that's when I realized I was onto something. And the most incredible thing is having a conversation with one of my best friends, Leslie, who was going through the same exact thing. And we realized together that we had something. We had us. We had the power of who we are. We had the power of our life. We had our strength. We had our abilities. That was still intact. And so that's how we came together and decided that we wanted to get this anthology out called The Second Wind.
And it's so impactful to me that not only were Joan and I going through the same thing at the same time, but our emotional journey was very similar. I too was just gut punched by the loss of stuff, the loss of what I thought was my forever marriage, the loss of what I thought was my forever farm, bank account, retirement. I had to come out of retirement and come back into the workforce. But the switch for me, the tipping point, was when I realized within me was everything that had always been there. I had the gift of rebuilding my life, and it was up to me how that looked. I could be defeated, I could give up, or I could build an incredible, vibrant life, my second wind. And that's the overwhelming thing that impresses me about every story in The Second Wind. I'll tell you, women are amazing. And you'll read throughout these stories that although they have a unique imprint, they have these common threads that run through them. They are stories about creativity and pushing on when it seems like you must stop. You find a new way to move forward. Stories about resilience, stories about strength. They will give you tools to realize when you're going through something similar that you too have all of that within you. And that's why we're so excited for readers to have the opportunity to dive into the lives of 12 different women living 12 different experiences in many similar ways.
Amazing. And I am hoping and I'm wishing that as you get this book and start reading it, that somewhere in there you will find yourself, that the life, the story of one of these ladies will resonate with you. And we are so happy that you are a part of The Second Wind and that you will support us and these authors as we bring this incredible book and film to you.
What if losing everything was just your beginning? there comes a moment when life knocks you down so hard you wonder if you can ever rise again. Everything you've known and believed in is stripped from you in an instant. In that moment, a choice is made: give up or catch your second wind. Armed with lessons from their past, the authors of The Second Wind made a conscious decision to chart a new course, not as the people they once were, but as wiser, stronger versions of themselves. They realized starting over wasn't a punishment, it was an opportunity. Join us on this journey as we see and hear from the powerful women who found their second winds. You'll see that you too can begin again. Your story isn't over, it's just entering a new chapter. The Second Wind isn't just a book, it's a movement.
My name is Joan T Randall, and I am one of the co-authors in The Second Wind. My title is The Bow and Arrow Covenant, Rising from Resistance.
It was a lonely New Year's Eve. The clock ticked towards midnight on December 31st. Dr. Joan T Randall sat alone in her apartment, staring at the empty space around her. The air was heavy with silence. No laughter, no family, and no companionship. This was not how she had envisioned her life. For the second time, she was facing divorce. An elder, a business owner, a mother, a grandmother. How had she ended up here again? This marriage was supposed to be her forever, her safe place, her final chapter of love. And yet, as the year came to a close, she found herself utterly alone. The weight of disappointment settled deep within her chest. She felt betrayed, insignificant, and as though she had failed, not just herself, but her children, her legacy, her life. A deep sadness wrapped around her like a shroud, pulling her into a darkness she feared she might not escape. Days passed, and the loneliness grew heavier. Depression whispered doubts in her mind, making her question everything. Why was this happening again? Had she not given enough? Had she not sacrificed enough? She sat in that despair, wondering if she would ever feel whole again. The emptiness gnawed at her spirit, threatening to consume the woman she once was. And then, in the midst of her sorrow, a shift. A whisper, soft yet unmistakable. A presence, like the stirring of the wind, moved through her. It wasn't just a thought, it was a revelation. A realization settled over her like a divine embrace. This was not her ending. It was her preparation. She envisioned herself as a bow being pulled back, not to be held captive in pain, but to be launched forward with force and precision. For so long, she had cared for others, always putting herself last. But now, the message was clear. It was her time. She was being positioned for something greater, something purposeful. She breathed deeply, letting the weight of the past fall away. She would no longer live in regret. This was her second wind, her resurgence, her moment of power. With renewed determination, Joan chose herself. She embraced the journey ahead, committing to her physical health, her financial stability, and her overall well-being. There was no one to hold her back, no chains of expectation, no fear of failure. She was free to rewrite her story, to become the woman she was always meant to be. No longer a victim of circumstance, she stepped fully into her power. The divorce was not the end. It was a catalyst for her transformation. She had risen from resistance stronger than before, and with that realization, she exhaled. She had found her second wind. Today, she stands as a testament to resilience. God had lifted her from despair and set her on a path of purpose. And now she shares her story, hoping that others will see the power of renewal and the strength that comes after the storm. Sometimes the hardest setbacks are simply the pull before the launch. She invites the world to witness her journey and support the second wind.
I hope that you will support The Second Wind.
The only way out is through. Face challenges head-on with unwavering determination. Let's meet the next author.
Hello, my name is Nakima Bryant, and the title of my chapter is The Power of His Death.
Nakima Bryant's life changed forever in a single devastating moment. Her one and only child, her best friend, her everything, was taken from her in a senseless act of gun violence. Her son, just 18 years old, was driving home when he was gunned down in a tragic case of mistaken identity. One moment, he was on his way back to the comfort of home. The next, he was gone. The loss was unfathomable. The world as she knew it shattered. Nothing remained the same. She was not the woman she had been before her son's death. The way she thought, the way she acted, even the things she once enjoyed, all of it had changed. Grief had placed her in an entirely different world, one where she had to navigate the unbearable reality of losing not just a child, but her only child. It did something profound to her spirit, altering her in ways she could never have anticipated. There were days when the weight of sorrow felt impossible to carry. Some mornings, she could barely find the strength to get out of bed. But then, in the quiet moments, she would hear him, his voice urging her on. "Come on, Mom. You've got to do it. You have to get up. You have to keep going." And so she did. Her strong support system became a pillar in her darkest days, checking in, making sure she was okay, standing beside her in the moments when she didn't have the strength to stand on her own. In the silence, in the absence, she knew her son was still watching over her, pushing her forward when she felt she could go no further. This was her second wind, starting over, rebuilding, rediscovering who she was without him physically by her side. It was a painful, slow process, but she had found a way to keep moving forward. Now she shares her story with others, not because it's easy, but because she knows someone out there needs to hear it. She wants people to understand that even on the hardest days, survival is possible. Even when the grief is overwhelming, there is still a way through. Most people ask if she's okay, but few truly want to know the depth of her pain. 4 years have passed since her son was taken, and though the pain remains, so does her determination. Nikema Bryant's journey is one of unimaginable loss, but also of resilience. She has found new things to do, new ways to live, though nothing will ever replace the bond she had with him. She moves forward, carrying her son's memory with her, knowing that his spirit continues to guide her. And with each step, she finds the strength to keep going. She expresses gratitude to those who have stood by her, to those who have believed in her, and to the second wind for giving her and others a platform to share their stories.
It's okay to not be okay. You just have to keep going.
Broken crayons still color. Your imperfections are part of your beauty. Let's meet the next author.
Hello, my name is Angela M. Mitchell, and the title of my chapter is The Journey Back to Her.
The breaking point. Angela M. Mitchell lays on the floor, overcome with despair. With tears streamed down her face as she begged God to take her, unable to understand the depths of her emotions or how to change them. Depression and anxiety had taken hold, leaving her feeling trapped with no way out. The weight of hopelessness consumed her. But in that moment of desperation, something shifted. A realization surfaced. She needed to make a change. There had to be more to her life than this pain. Determined to reclaim her life, Angela took a brave step and sought medical help. She met with her doctor, desperate for clarity and a path forward. The diagnosis was clear: bipolar depression and bipolar II disorder. Medication became a crucial part of her journey, stabilizing her mind and lifting the fog that had clouded her thoughts for so long. With newfound clarity, she felt ready to embark on the journey back to herself. As Angela gained control over her emotions, she turned back to the foundation that had once given her strength, her faith. She immersed herself in Scripture, finding solace in God's Word. Prayers became her anchor, and she trusted that all she had asked for would come to pass. With each passing day, her faith deepened, guiding her towards healing and transformation. The power of writing, a passion that had once been lost, resurfaced. Journaling. Angela picked up her pen and began documenting her emotions, her struggles, and her victories. Writing became her therapy, a way to process the journey she was on. The act of putting her thoughts onto paper gave her a renewed sense of self. She had abandoned journaling for years, but now it became a crucial part of her healing. Sharing her story. As she continued to heal, Angela realized that her story held power. She took a bold step and contributed a chapter to her first anthology, sharing her experiences with the world. The act of revealing her struggles and triumphs brought a sense of liberation. In sharing her truth, she found deeper healing. She recognized that the change she had been searching for had always been within her grasp. Embracing the second wind, Angela came to understand that when one reaches the end of their rope, that is the moment to lean into faith the most. It is in that moment of surrender that the second wind arrives. Through faith, self-discovery, and the courage to share her story, she found her way back. Her journey was not just about survival. It was about rediscovering purpose and embracing the new chapter ahead. With gratitude, Angela thanks those who have supported her journey and the project that has allowed her to share her second wind with the world.
And so I just want to thank you for supporting this project. Thank you for supporting the second.
Fall 7 times, stand up 8. Resilience is the essence of courage. Let's meet the next author.
Hello, my name is Christy Busia, and my chapter is titled, It's Hell in the Hallway.
The Hallway of Uncertainty. Christy had been in the hallway before. 3 times, in fact. Each time, a door had slammed shut behind her, leaving her standing in the dark, cold, and lonely space of uncertainty. This time, it was different. The door behind her had not just closed. It had been forcefully shut, sealing off any possibility of returning to what once was. At the other end of the hallway, no doors were opening, only distant slivers of light peeking through the darkness. A devastating blow. She had no idea where to turn, no clear path forward. The moment that landed her there played in her mind repeatedly. She had been on a performance review call when the words cut through like a blade. We're letting you go because you haven't been living the values. The statement shook her to her core. It wasn't just about losing a job. It was an attack on everything she believed in. Which value had she not lived? Integrity? Respect? These were the very foundation of her principles. The shock left her numb. The unfairness of it all threatened to consume her, but something greater stirred within. For the first time, she looked beyond the slivers of light and saw something more. God was there, holding out a lantern. In that moment, she wasn't just standing in the hallway, she was being prepared. He was lacing up her running shoes, handing them to her, and whispering, "Run, I have something amazing in store for you." That was the moment everything changed. Instead of mourning the closed door, she embraced it. She realized that what was behind her was never truly aligned with her purpose. The hamster wheel she had been on, the one others had defined for her, was never meant to be her path. This time, she chose to define the journey for herself. She stepped forward, and with each step, she caught her second wind. Now she wants others to know that the hallway, as painful as it may be, is part of the process. It is lonely, it is uncertain, but within it, there are lessons to be learned. She encourages readers to embrace the hell in the hallway, to take each step forward, knowing that the right door will open, to trust that they are being prepared for something greater. Because when they step through that door, they won't just be entering a new season. They will be stepping into their purpose. With gratitude, she thanks those who have supported the second wind, knowing that within its pages, others will find the strength to push forward, one step at a time.
Thank you for supporting the second wind.
She stood in the storm, and when the wind did not blow her way, she adjusted her sails. Adapt and thrive against all odds. Let's meet the next author.
Hi, my name is Charmaine Castillo, and my chapter title is Purpose Defies Age.
A heartbreaking revelation. Charmaine Castillo never imagined she would learn of her son's death through a Facebook post. Living in Florida while he resided in New York, the distance made the loss feel even more surreal. It was the day of a total eclipse, and as the sky darkened, so did her world. The news struck like a forceful blow. Her son was gone. In that moment of devastation, she made a decision. I will live and not die. I will live my life to the fullest, because that's what her son did. At 62 years old, she had been thinking about retirement, yet she had never truly considered what a fulfilled life looked like beyond the routine of work and responsibilities. The answer wasn't immediate, but deep within, something stirred. She began looking inward, searching for the dreams she had long buried, the ones still alive, still waiting to be pursued. In the process, she didn't just rediscover those dreams, she rediscovered herself. The answer wasn't immediate, but deep within, something stirred. In finding herself, she also found her purpose. Her purpose wasn't in chasing an external goal. It was in living, fully, intentionally, and with an open heart. The best version of her life came when she poured into herself and, in turn, poured into others. She realized that living and giving were inseparable. In serving others, she found a profound truth. Purpose was never about age, but about action. She embraced self-care, personal growth, and healing, And from that, a new life emerged, one filled with meaning, joy, and service. Charmaine's journey led her to storytelling. Writing and sharing her experiences became a way to help others find their own second wind. Through words, she encouraged people to step into their calling, to embrace their own journey, and to realize that everything they needed was already inside them. Purpose defies age. Her story became more than just personal healing. It became a guide for others searching for meaning no matter their age. She is thankful that in her struggle, in her pain, she found renewal. She found her second wind. Now, she lives with gratitude. In doing what she loves, she reclaimed her life. Her message to others is simple yet profound. Relax. It doesn't matter if you're 12, 62, or 100. Purpose does not matter your age. Everything you are meant to do is already within you. The moment you find your hope in serving others, you have found your calling. With deep appreciation, Charmaine thanks those who have supported the second wind, knowing that within its pages, others may find the strength to uncover their own purpose.
Thank you for supporting the second wind.
Your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine where you start. Every end is a new beginning. Let's meet the next author.
Hi, my name is Crystal Newkirk, and I am the CEO and managing partner of Above HR Solutions. I am also the Queen City Women in Business Georgia chapter president. The title of my chapter is Drowning in My Place of Comfort.
Crystal Newkirk had built a strong foundation in the corporate world, while balancing her role as CEO and managing partner of Above HR Solutions. She had worked in the corporate world since 1999, and as she approached its 25th anniversary, she realized that despite its longevity, she had never fully stepped into the calling placed on her life. The security of a steady paycheck had become her place of comfort, but instead of peace, it left her feeling mentally and emotionally overwhelmed. God was calling her to more, to leave behind corporate life and fully embrace her role as a full-time entrepreneur. But stepping into that unknown came with its own battles. Despite hearing the call, Crystal hesitated. Fear loomed over her, whispering doubts that she wasn't ready. Imposter syndrome crept in, making her question her abilities, her preparedness, her worth. But deep down, she knew the truth. God had been preparing her all along. Every lesson, every challenge, every success and failure had been equipping her for this very moment. If she wanted to step into her second wind, she had to let go of fear. With renewed faith, she made the decision to trust the process. She embraced the shift, understanding that life is full of transitions, some expected, others unexpected. For some, transition might mean stepping into entrepreneurship. For others, it could be becoming an empty nester, entering marriage, or embracing singlehood. Crystal wanted others to see their own journey in her story. Regardless of the form it takes, every transition requires courage. She wanted them to know that while fear and doubt may show up, they don't have to win. Now, as she fully steps into her purpose, she shares her journey with confidence. She encourages others to face fear head-on, to recognize the power and grace already within them, and to trust that they have been prepared for their season. For those who dare to step into their own transition, the second wind is waiting. She hopes that readers will walk away from her chapter feeling empowered and inspired to become their best selves. With gratitude, Crystal thanks those who have supported the second wind. This season is not just about change, it is about rebirth.
Thank you for supporting the second wind.
The comeback is always stronger than the setback. Every challenge builds a greater you. Let's meet the next author.
Hello, my name is Sharon Thompson. My chapter title is Finally Free to Find Me.
Sharon Thompson had faced more storms than most. From an early age, life had thrown relentless winds in her direction. She had witnessed violence, experienced the weight of teenage parenthood, endured various forms of abuse, and suffered the unimaginable loss of her son. As the years passed, more burdens followed. A failed marriage, the responsibility of being a caretaker for both her grandmother and mother until their passing. Each hardship chipped away at her spirit, leaving her feeling rejected, unloved, unheard, and ultimately, as though she was not enough. The pain ran so deep that she found herself in a dark place, one where living no longer seemed like an option. A suicide attempt and a near-death experience became pivotal moments in her story, moments that should have marked the end. But they didn't. Though she didn't realize it at the time, God's grace had been working all along. God's unwavering love and commitment carried her through the darkest nights, even when she couldn't see or feel it. As an adult, she made the decision to accept Christ. That moment marked a shift, a quiet, powerful transformation that had been unfolding all along. Without fully knowing it, she had gained her second wind. Looking back, Sharon understood the deeper lesson in her journey. Not every path begins on the right foot. Life's experiences, challenges, and heartbreaks may seem unbearable, but nothing is unnoticed by Christ. Her pain had not been wasted. Every trial had been shaping her for a purpose. What once felt like chaos had become a message of restoration and compassion. Today, Sharon stands in her second wind, free, loved, respected, and heard. She no longer carries the weight of past burdens, but walks forward in faith, embracing the life God has given her. Her story is a testament to resilience, to transformation, and to the undeniable power of grace. She is finally free to find herself. With gratitude, she shares her journey, knowing that the second wind is not just her story. It's an invitation for others to heal and embrace their own renewal.
Thank you for supporting the second wind.
Bloom where you are planted, and watch the world marvel at your growth. Embrace your environment, and flourish with elegance. Let's meet the next author.
Hello, I'm Regina Nichelle, and I am the author of Rebirth of the Queen.
The Awakening of a Queen. Regina Nichelle had always been fascinated by royalty. As a little girl, she admired Queen Elizabeth, not just for the crown she wore, but for the regal presence, the respect, and the authority she commanded. But Regina's own life did not reflect the same sense of royalty. Instead of confidence, she wrestled with a deep lack of identity. She sought acceptance in relationships, longing for validation that never seemed to come. That search led her down paths filled with heartbreak, including a marriage that would eventually crumble, leaving her in the wreckage of an imploded life. When her marriage ended, she could have remained lost in the rubble, believing the lie that she was unworthy. But something within her stirred, something deeper than the pain, stronger than the rejection. For the first time, she recognized the value that had been in her all along. God had never abandoned her. Even her name was a prophecy of who she was meant to be. Regina Nichelle, meaning victorious queen. The worth she had been searching for had always been inside her. The moment she embraced that truth, everything changed. With her newfound identity, she no longer lived in the shadow of past mistakes. She stepped boldly into new opportunities, new spaces, and a new sense of purpose. Her second wind was not just about surviving, it was about thriving. It was about translating pain into purpose, using her story to uplift and empower others. She no longer needed external validation. She was already a queen. She wants her readers to know that no matter how broken they feel, no matter what they have lost, their identity remains intact. Now, she shares her journey so that others can see themselves in her story. They are worthy. They are valuable. And like her, they already have everything they need to rise. If she could find her second wind, then so can they. Regina Nichelle hopes that her story will inspire others to push forward, to believe that brighter days are ahead, and to embrace their own identity with confidence. With gratitude, she thanks those who have supported the second wind, a testament to the strength and resilience of every woman who refuses to be defined by their past.
Thank you for supporting us in the second.
The sky is not the limit, your mind is. Break free from self-imposed boundaries and soar. Let's meet the next author.
Hello, everyone. Robin Hill, minister and joy specialist, and my chapter in the second wind is Released from the Shackles of a Broken Covenant.
Robin Hill had dedicated her life to ministry, spreading joy and faith wherever she went. But even those who serve are not exempt from suffering. Her story, one of pain, drama, scandal, and heartbreak, was shaped by the devastation of a broken covenant. As a minister, she never imagined herself enduring the kind of turmoil she faced in her marriage. The weight of betrayal, disappointment, and sorrow pressed heavily on her spirit. She knew there were many who could relate to this kind of suffering, to the feeling of being trapped in a situation that seemed impossible to escape. But her story wasn't just about brokenness, it was about victory. When everything around her crumbled, she turned to the one place she knew could restore her, the presence of God. Alone in her room, she poured out her heart in prayer, seeking wisdom and clarity.
Yolanda Adams, she said it so eloquently. Alone in the room, it's just me and you. I'm so afraid of disappointing you. So I need to talk to you and ask you for your guidance.
That moment of solitude became her turning point. In the stillness, she received what she calls divine intelligence, God's wisdom, clarity, and direction. Through prayer and faith, she found the strength to rise. No longer shackled by pain, she stepped into victory. She discovered that even after deep betrayal, there was restoration. Even after heartbreak, there was triumph. Her second wind was more than just survival. It was renewal. It was a life transformed, one filled with health, wealth, and the joy of heaven on earth. Now she shares her journey, not just as a testimony of resilience, but as a message of hope for others. For anyone who has felt broken, lost, or in need of divine guidance, her story serves as a beacon. Through the second wind, readers will find strength, fortification, and the wisdom to rise beyond their own struggles. She encourages others to take the time, to immerse themselves in the stories, and to discover the transformative power waiting within. Robin Hill stands as a testament to the fact that no pain is permanent, no betrayal is final, and no heartbreak is beyond the reach of God's restoration. With gratitude, she thanks those who support the second wind, knowing that each story holds the power to inspire and heal.
Thank you so much for your support and supporting and getting the second wind. I promise you, you won't be disappointed.
Your story is still being written. Don't let anyone else hold the pen. Craft your narrative with courage and conviction. Let's meet the next author.
Hello, my name is Sarah Omaya Agag, and my chapter title is Betrayed by Love.
A love built on deception, Sarah had always believed in standing by the people she loved. When her boyfriend was diagnosed with leukemia, she devoted herself to his care, embodying unwavering support and compassion. She was his rock, his caregiver, his Florence Nightingale. But beneath the surface of her selfless devotion, a painful truth lurked in the shadows. One day she discovered the unimaginable. He was married. The revelation shattered her. The betrayal cut so deeply that words could not capture the depth of her anguish. The hurt, the anger, the disbelief, it all settled in her chest like a heavy stone. Tears hovered in her eyes, threatening to fall, but she held them back. She had to be strong. Despite the pain consuming her, she continued to stand by him throughout his treatment, acting as though nothing had changed. But inside, everything had. Finding strength and moving forward. When the treatments were over, so was her chapter with him. With quiet resolve, she walked away, without bitterness, without rage. She refused to let the betrayal define her. Instead, she poured her energy into her future. She pursued her master's degree in business administration and landed her dream job. She transformed her pain into purpose, proving to herself that no amount of deception could hold her back. Now she shares her story not as a tale of heartbreak, but as a testament to resilience. She wants readers to understand that walking away from a toxic situation, whether a relationship, a job, or anything that no longer serves them, is not a sign of weakness. No betrayal, no hardship, no setback has the power to stop a determined soul. As she reflects on her journey, she embraces the lesson that has carried her forward. The sky is the limit. Nothing, not even the deepest betrayal, can stop someone from chasing their dreams. Sarah's journey is proof that even in the face of heartbreak, there is always a second wind waiting to lift you higher. With gratitude, she thanks those who have supported the second wind, knowing that every story within its pages is a testament to the power of perseverance.
Thank all of you for supporting the second wind.
Let your dreams be bigger than your fears. Allow hope to guide you through the darkness. Let's meet the next author.
Everyone, my name is Lisa Richmond. I am one of the authors of The Second Wind. My chapter title is Delivered from the Valleys of the Unknown.
The journey through the unknown, Lisa Richmond had spent years searching for something she couldn't quite define: her identity. Life's challenges had often left her feeling lost in the valleys of the unknown, where uncertainty and hardship clouded her sense of self. For Lisa, the second wind symbolizes the moment of renewal, the shift that occurs when hardship no longer holds power over the soul. It is that invigorating burst of energy and clarity that allows a person to push through obstacles that once felt impossible to overcome. Her journey was not easy, nor was it straightforward. But in the midst of those struggles, she discovered something powerful: the second wind. It was filled with highs and lows, moments of doubt and breakthroughs of strength. Yet, within every struggle, she found resilience. Through her experience, Lisa came to understand a truth that she hopes others will embrace. No matter how broken one feels, there is strength within. Even in moments of despair, the power to heal and transform remains. By sharing her story, she seeks to encourage others to find their own second wind, to push through challenges, to reclaim their power, and to rewrite their stories with purpose, love, and resilience. Lisa's message is clear: life does not have to be defined by pain. Everyone has the ability to create something new, something meaningful. She hopes her readers will see their own strength reflected in her journey and find the courage to step into their renewal. Lisa Richmond stands as living proof that even in the darkest valleys, renewal is possible. With gratitude, she thanks those who support the second wind, knowing that each story within its pages serves as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit.
I want to thank you for supporting the second wind.
Strength grows in the moments when you think you can't go on but keep going anyway. Perseverance is the heartbeat of your strength. Let's meet the next author.
Hi there, my name is Leslie Cottrell, and I'm one of the contributing authors to The Second Wind. My chapter is titled Stripped to the Soul.
A life shattered in an instant. In 2023, Leslie Cottrell found herself standing at the edge of two devastating losses. As she prepared to sign her mother into hospice care, bracing for the inevitable grief of saying goodbye, she had no idea another heartbreak was waiting just around the corner. That same weekend, during what seemed like an ordinary walk, her husband delivered a crushing blow. He was demanding an immediate divorce. Everything she had known, everything she had built, felt like it was crumbling beneath her feet. She could feel herself slipping, the weight of grief and betrayal threatening to pull her under. The temptation to give in, to let the pain consume her, was overwhelming. But then, the Lord stepped in. And in that divine intervention, she found her second wind. Through this season of profound loss and transition, 3 pillars became the foundation of her survival. Pillars that would not only carry her through, but become ingrained in her very being: letting go and trusting God. For the first time, Leslie surrendered control completely. She took her hands off the wheel of her life and placed them in the hands of the Lord, trusting Him to protect, provide, and lead the way. His blessings covered her and her family in ways she would never again take for granted. Through this trial, her faith deepened, reaching a strength she had never known was possible. Faith alone wasn't enough. She knew she had to take action. Instead of allowing herself to be swallowed by pain, she chose to step outside of herself. She turned her focus outward, finding healing and serving others, and pursuing new opportunities for growth. By making intentional choices to move forward, she refused to let her life become defined by loss. Leslie made a decision. This will not be the end of my story. Instead of allowing grief and betrayal to break her, she chose to rise. The very experiences that threatened to destroy her became the force that propelled her into a new season. This was her second wind. Now she shares her story to encourage others who find themselves in the midst of life-altering storms. She wants readers to know that while pain is inevitable, surrendering to it is not. Faith, action, and resilience can carry anyone through the darkest of times. Her journey is proof that even in the face of unimaginable loss, a second wind is always possible. With gratitude, Leslie thanks those who have supported the second wind, a collection of stories from women who, like her, refuse to let hardship define them.
I appreciate your support. We're so thankful that you are reading these amazing stories of all these women who have stepped into their